Welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. The very meaningless of life forces man to create his own meaning. Children, of course, begin life with an untarnished sense of wonder, a capacity to experience total joy at something as simple as the greenness of a leaf. But as they grow older, the awareness of death and decay begins to impinge on their consciousness and subtly erode their joie de vivre, their idealism, and their assumption of immortality. As a child matures, he sees death and pain everywhere about him and begins to lose faith in the ultimate goodness of man. But if he's reasonably strong and lucky, he can emerge from this twilight of the soul into a rebirth of life's elan, both because of and in spite of his awareness of the meaningless of life. He can forge a fresh sense of purpose and affirmation. He may not recapture the same pure sense of wonder he was born with, but he can shape something far more enduring and sustaining. The most terrifying fact about the universe is not that it is hostile, but that it is indifferent. But if we can come to terms with this indifference and accept the challenges of life within the boundaries of death, however mutable man may be able to make them, our existence as a species can have genuine meaning and fulfillment. However vast the darkness, we must supply our own light. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. I am Gary Pigeon.
And I'm Harry Neville. That don't rhyme.
Your assessment of that?
That don't rhyme. That wasn't.
Shit don't rhyme, dog.
That wasn't a rap lyric.
Shit don't rhyme, dog.
We've got rules, man. If we're just allowed to be quoting any old thing. Like one time I branched off into what arguably could have been called poetry when I used Enter Shikari as a quote. But other than that, it's all been hip-hop, and, you know, even poetry is kind of just slow rap, really.
Yeah. Well, look, I just couldn't find a good Tupac lyric.
Right. So what was that? Who was that from?
That's one of my favourite quotes from Stanley Kubrick.
Right.
The master.
The
Kubster.
Yeah.
It's I suppose one of my favourite lines. It's from one of the very few interviews, one of the very few very in-depth interviews he did with Playboy magazine in sort of 1965 or 69 or something like that, around the time that 2001 Space Odyssey came out. And this is fascinating stuff. It's good stuff. And it's, a good perspective to have. And I think, that's how I look at my filmmaking, sort of through this prism a little bit, for sure. So I just thought I'd put that one out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really like it, and I'm inclined to agree with all that is said there, pretty much. So that's good. I think I'm battling my way through that twilight, that aforementioned twilight, because you definitely, there's no doubt about it. Your perspective changes as you get older.
Yep.
And you start, noticing what's wrong with the world more than you start noticing what's right with the world.
Yeah.
But, I do really feel like eventually it can lead to a better and stronger you. If you make it through the other side, if you don't, cut your wrists before then.
If you don't fall into the abyss.
Yeah, basically. So it's good stuff.
So you keep us updated whether or not you'll fall into that abyss or not.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel I'm pretty good. I feel I've really come out the other side of that.
Right.
And stronger and better than ever. I never teetered too close to the edge either.
Right, yeah.
Feel like I had the mental fortitude to, drag my way through it all.
Second topic, Vin Diesel's dad bod.
Great, so we move on from, the really important
musings on life
to
Vin Diesel's dad bod. Now, recently Vin Diesel was paid out basically online because there was a couple of photos taken where he's walking out of a hotel and he's got like quite a big gut.
Yeah.
And he's like not looking like trim and fit in any sense.
Yeah.
He's got like a fag hanging out of his mouth and he's just basically looking like a kind of not a middle-aged dude.
Yeah.
And so it was all this, Vin Diesel dad bod, like,
Yeah.
a lot of basically shaming, body shaming.
Body
going on.
shaming, yeah.
It's getting tough out here for guys.
It is.
It's getting real tough because there's all these chiseled people on film now, like literally on film. You cannot take your top off unless you're ripped and have a six pack.
Yeah.
You cannot do it.
Yeah.
There's no taking tops off.
I rocked the dad bod in Reflection.
Yeah.
The film by Jaime Gomez, in which I have a sexy scene coming out of the water,
And
rocking the dad bod.
Like, you had a, like, James Bond, Daniel Craig moment where you're meant to walk out of the water like he did with his, like, blue trunks and be,
sexy.
like, all chiseled and jacked.
Yeah.
And I
waddled out of the water.
And he told you to, like, work out for it, too, which you disregarded. You did not do that. You did not prepare in the way that he wanted you to.
No, I guess I didn't. And then I remember there was this one scene, not that scene, but there was this other scene where I was sort of sitting in the van, right, and the shot, like my guts just didn't look very good. Like it would have been fine if I was tensing, but I wasn't tensing, and so my gut was just kind of a bit big while I'm sort of sitting in the front seat of this van, and I was like, geez, I don't know about that shot, Jaime. Or I was like, you're making me some of these. I look a bit fat in some of these shots, and he was like, well, I'm sorry, Harley, but this no is my area. This node was my area. This was your area. Well, touche. I guess you're right. That was the director.
So, yeah, but anyway, Vin Diesel, but he did come back with some good stuff. Like, his response to that, like, what he did, he did post like a photo like 2 days later, and he was like, don't worry about my dad bod, and he's like holding up his top, and you can still see there's got abs and stuff like that. So that was the one response. But the other response was he was like, look, I don't feel like I should have to be defending whether I'm in or out of shape. Like, there's, like, I'm 48. I've had an amazing body for 25 years. I plan to be working as a actor long after I'm not on the cover of Muscle and Fitness anymore. So, it's kind of shitty of all of you.
So get off my fucking back!
Yeah, basically. And he was also like, plus, I'm a dad.
So I'm allowed a dad bod.
Yeah, so basically. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well,
but
the picture I saw was of him on a balcony with a big fat gut.
That's the one.
He's topless.
Yeah.
Though. He's topless with a big, with quite a big pot belly.
Yeah.
And it says, well, at least, the meme says, well, at least I can finally say I've got a body like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that's quite good.
It's pretty funny.
But I do think that, like, we all talk about, the female's got to look good, look really good on camera and aging and all that stuff. And, like, guys do definitely have it better with aging. Like, people are much more forgiving of wrinkled guys, right? But they are 0% forgiving of body fat on guys.
Yeah.
Which is just as hard to maintain, and so, I think we've shifted into an equal body shaming area of the, equally judgmental of guys as well as girls.
I don't know if it's quite equal. I think some feminists out there will beg to differ.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Because, they got the makeup and, even in day-to-day life,
guys
like,
have to wear makeup too in film.
For example, though, if you're a waitress, and the waitress comes over to you with no makeup on, and just looks a bit haggard, you might notice that. But if the waiter comes over with no makeup on, well, you wouldn't expect him to have makeup on.
Yeah. I guess so.
But a waitress needs to have her hair done properly and all that stuff. But as a man, while he still has to be tidy, he doesn't have to be to quite the same level.
Well, that's a good point, Harley. But I'm just talking about films.
Oh, it's just for films. It's not in general.
I'm not taking it like the whole thing because yes, girls still have it much worse.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a interesting Vin Diesel doing it for us dad bod guys. We're dad bod guys who aren't dads. I'm just not looking forward to this me coming under scrutiny on older. with my, top off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, because this is the thing. It's like, I, trained quite hard and, dieted to not look like a fat piece of shit.
And did it work?
It worked, but I don't have abs or anything. I'm still just a guy, and so I definitely not forward to he could have fucking hit the gym a little bit at least, those types of remarks. So that he's not even in good enough shape to be doing this. Why is he getting his top off? He's barely in good enough shape to do anything. And it's come on, guys, this.
Oh, that's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, well, I just don't appreciate that because one, I did work really hard. Two, it's actually really difficult to get, those people, they have, nutritionists lay out, they have chefs cooking these meals, and then they have a personal trainer, and I didn't have any of those things. I was just going to work. I was just going to work.
Going to work and trying to resist eating McDonald's.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was tough.
Yeah.
That was difficult, man. Try not to get a muffin with my coffee when I go down to the dairy. Try getting a protein cookie instead.
Getting a fucking muffin top with your coffee.
So, I'm not looking forward to that. But, I also accept that it may happen. And my feelings will be deeply hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess nobody said anything about my body on Zombie Holocaust as far as I've been aware.
It's because you're in good shape.
Well, also, I guess I was playing a nerd. I wasn't meant to have a good body.
But you were in good shape. You were looking very trim. The issue is that you were just disgustingly hairy.
Yeah, that's true. That is the issue.
And to be honest, no one was really paying attention to how good... You could have had a fat gut. They probably wouldn't have noticed because they're so... taken by staring at the hair.
The shoulders.
No one really comes to me and says that you're in looking really good there, but I do think that you are looking in really good shape there. But what they want to talk about is how hairy you are, and whether it was a special effect.
I saw a photo from just after the shoot, which is actually, when I was a little bit fatter than before I started the shoot, and I was topless and I was swimming at the river in Oda Matata, and I look fucking good.
Yeah.
And we look real good.
And now you're just dreaming of those days.
Those days, yeah, exactly.
With your 1 day a week at the gym.
Yeah, half an hour a week at the gym, does it.
Half an hour at the gym.
Well, I walk to work occasionally. Yeah. I was at the movies yesterday. I didn't actually go to the movies. Went to have a look, though, see what was on. And I was with Angie, and we'd walked into town from our place, and so I was rocking the wife beater, as I'm known to do in the finer weather.
Yeah.
So I had the wife beater, and of course the hairy shoulders were very prominent. And whenever I go somewhere with Angie and I'm rocking the wife beater, I don't really notice it, but she notices, or the people staring at me. Yeah. And there was there was 3 or 4 people standing behind me in the cinema. While we were all looking at the board, reading the synopsis of all the films, and one of them poked their friend. I didn't see it, but one of them poked their friend and then pointed at my hairy shoulders, and then they all had a hushed conversation and chuckle about it.
Yeah, well, look, it's no doubt that your shoulders are an abomination, and so I always want when you say that, I'm always is Angie no, Harley, don't do that because everyone is going to look, Harley.
No, she doesn't. She never tells me not to, but she does say that I'm brave for going out. Because look, man, it's scary to be this hairy in a world of shaved apes, and she tells me I'm brave for going out like that. And also, but she does say, she's told me several times that I will be manscaping for summer. Yeah. She's put the foot down on that one. And I don't really know how I feel about that, because on the one hand, sure, I get it. I look better when I manscape.
Much better.
Much better.
100% better.
But, hair is natural. It's my natural body. Should I really be putting myself through all this drama, trying to veet my back, getting ingrown hairs, getting all spiky? There's a certain period there before it gets to sort of the golden period, it starts off... you get rid of the hair. You get rid of all of the hair on your front and back and shoulders, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of smooth, but not super smooth. And then basically it goes straight into stubble. So then you've got stubble all over your body for a while. Imagine a man stubble, like the stubble of your chin, like that sort of stubble, except for all over your entire body, right? And then you kind of get this good period where the hair has come out. It's no longer stubbly, so you can't really feel it, but it's not quite long enough to see yet. That's the golden period. That's the dream zone right there.
Yeah.
And that lasts for not that long, like a week or two. And then, A, the hair starts becoming visible, and B, you start getting ingrown hairs, right? And then and then instead of being covered in hair, you're covered in pimples, like all of this, and I just don't know, maybe it's time that I came to terms with my affliction, maybe it's just time I just accepted it.
Well, look, to be honest, it's not you coming to terms with it. It's you making her come to terms with it.
Yeah. Oh, no, like, I'm still aware, though. When I go walking down the street and, like the other day when I went to the movies, I am aware of the fact that people are staring at my shoulders. Like, I'm very aware of it. Like, I do know. I guess it's just kind of like, I'm like, man, Auckland's big enough, I'm not going to see anybody I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Probably.
Yeah.
Statistically
speaking,
yeah,
probably not going to bump into anyone.
Although we did bump into Angie's, some guy that works at Angie's work, and he told her the next day, he was like, yeah, I was walking through the mall and I saw her, and I was like, and we were all like, whoa, check out how hairy that guy is. and then I saw you sitting across from him, and then she was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. and then apparently he was like, ooh, and didn't have much to say about it.
Cool.
He was just envisioning this hairy beast man all over her.
Cool. This is beast ravaging her.
So in the description of this podcast, I'll post the most famous picture, which is the half hairy picture. I'll post it in the description on the Facebook page so that you guys can all see exactly how hairy we're talking here. Or I'll post, probably what I'll post is the shaving scene from the Guy and Harley show where you shave me in slow motion.
Yeah.
It gives a good example of how hairy I am.
Yeah. Well, it's a gift and a curse, on the one hand, we have exploited it many times for humour, such as the video that you're referencing.
Yep.
Which may be the pinnacle of that humour.
Yeah.
And we may not top that.
You don't think?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It is good.
And so it's been great from a comedic point of view of making fun of you. And then on the other hand, in real life, it's quite disgusting. And, is a big turn-off for 99% of women.
Well, the population.
Yeah, the population.
Not even just women.
Yeah, probably. Well, I was trying to be nice because I thought that there was probably some gay guys
well,
out there.
There's obviously the beer lovers.
Into it, and so it might be more like a, 80-20 split on that one.
Isn't it ironic that I'm a heterosexual male and I'm popular with the in the gay community amongst the beer lovers? It's like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a vagina. Yeah,
I mean, it is weird because just as easily hairiness could be seen as we could be living
in a time
in an era when hairiness is considered very attractive.
Yeah.
I'm sure...
Well, I just got to move somewhere cold.
Yeah. Well,
colder.
Certainly in caveman times, you would have been king of the
roast.
Exactly.
Well, I have been sort of actually thinking about that lately, about the evolutionary advantage or disadvantage to it. Why am I hairy and why am I bald on top?
Why, God?
Why? No, like from an evolution standpoint though, like for example, being bald on top, what is the evolutionary advantage to that? Because it still exists.
Well, I guess...
It's still here.
I would say two things to that.
Okay, what would you say?
One, there isn't, because they say, is it 70% or 90% of heat escapes through your head. So, which is obviously, it's all about staying warm.
Yeah.
So, from that perspective, it's bad. But on the other hand, it is to do with testosterone.
Yeah.
And having a little too much of it.
Yeah.
So...
You pass on your genes.
And possibly better at inseminating girls.
Well, not just that, but it also, that very same testosterone is what's given me the hairy back, which has helped, protect me from the sun and cancers. stuff like that. No shit. Like, we're talking from an evolutionary standpoint here. Why are these genes still alive?
Sure.
They're still alive because my ancestors and I are all protected from cancers, from melanomas and stuff like that to a degree, protected from the sun by the hair. We're also kept warmer.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, you lose a bit of hair out the top. And then, and then on top of that, you're a super jizzer who can just fuck all day.
Well, don't give yourself too much credit.
Hey, it's in the genes, bro.
You're a super jizzer.
It's in the genes.
Whose jizz is really potent.
No, it
and
just
may
means,
have more jizz.
No, because the point of the testosterone is that it
more
makes you
jizz
hornier
per-
as well.
Yeah,
Do you know, actually, Angie's
jizz
friend,
per
this ties in
square
nicely, Angie's friend, who I didn't fuck,
Yeah.
we went to this cafe once, and Angie's friend happened to be working at this cafe. And the first thing she noticed, because I was rocking the wife beater, was that I was really hairy. She's like, who's that fucking hairy dude there? And then Angie came up, saw her, and they had a talk and stuff like that, and I wasn't listening. And the friend told Angie, she was like, oh, poor you, he must go all day. He must have all that testosterone. She was obviously a little bit curious. Who thinks of that stuff? She was the 1%, man. She was the 1%.
She was the 1%.
That's instead of the first thing she thinks isn't revolting, the first thing she thinks is stallion.
So, well, I think in the modern era, so that was true, but now in the modern era, you have become a circus sideshow freak, and all the people that aren't attracted to it are counteracting all those positive things.
Yeah.
So think of the future.
We'll see, because it can be a fad that is passing. Evolution is such a slow process that it's not going to, even a few generations of not liking hair is not going to be enough to weed it out.
Well, but you also have to say that that must have been happening because.
Otherwise there'd be more hairy people?
There'd be way more hairy people.
Yeah.
Because people are getting, if anything, less hairy.
Presumably, yeah.
And certainly you are... I've never met a man in real life. I've seen images on the internet.
Yeah. But I guess
it's jerking off, but that's not the
irrelevant.
same.
Irrelevant.
I've never seen a man
as hairy as me
in real life. I've seen people that are quite hairy, but they're not really on par.
Well, the thing is, though, you got to remember your population, which is this European population. When you start bringing in, factoring in, I don't know, the Muslims and these guys are pretty hairy. No, the Muslims, it's not a race, but you know what I mean, Middle Eastern people. That's that there's some pretty hairy dudes around there. Maybe it depends on which population you live in.
Yeah.
So overall, in the world, there might actually be a lot of very hairy men.
Well, hairy men, send us your photos.
yeah, send them in, guys.
So we know.
As a show of support for me, send in these hairy photos and we will tally them up.
Have we got some listener questions? We've got any listener questions?
Oh, we do, yep. Hang on, let me just have a wee look here. You keep on keeping on.
Well,
actually, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, so Trevor Lewis, not Trevor Lewis from Hag Films in England. There's a second Trevor Lewis.
We have two Trevor Lewises that
listen. Yes, that listen. So to both of you, hello. Now, this is the New Zealand Trevor Lewis. As a topic, he wanted to know more about John Key using the All Blacks as his personal PR company.
Okay, now actually I have a bit of beef about this.
You got good.
Because I'm not a John Key fan.
No, he should stop bullshitting me.
Yeah, Harley is not a John Key fan. He literally wrote a rap about it.
Mm-hmm. Which we should cut to right now.
John Key's got to go, so get out of the country and leave it alone. John Key's got to go, so get out of the country and leave it alone. John Key's got to go, so get out of the country and leave it alone. John Key's got to go, so get the fuck out of the country and leave it alone.
There it is, that was good.
And now I'm going to have to
edit that.
That's
Thank you,
take
motherfucker.
a lot of work.
Just to take a little snippet from the chorus.
So, I'm not a fan of what he's done to New Zealand. I'm not a fan of his serpentine ways, his sneaky kind of, subterfuge. He's sort of always sort of, very misleading, very two-faced, very back and forth. I do think once upon a time yanking on people's ponytails would have been not good. Now he just gets away with it. There's all sorts of stuff like that. The flag thing is just kind of smoke and mirrors for other things.
Are you going to vote on the flag referendum, which is coming up?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because the first referendum is you vote about to see if it's to choose which one of the potential 4 flags you like, and then there's another one where you vote where the winning one of those 4 goes up against the original New Zealand flag.
Yeah.
So it's by no means guaranteed that we're going to change the flag. It's up to us if we got it.
Have they swapped out the other flag
for the red flag for the red peak? I'm not sure.
Because again, see, there is another issue of democracy failing, because as far as I know, they were like, let's get this flag in, and they were like, the government was like, it would be impossible. It would be impossible to do that at this stage unless we swapped it out.
Yeah.
And then they were like, here's a petition of 50,000 people, which is more than anyone has given a shit about any of these flags.
Yeah.
They managed to rally 50,000 people to say that, which is like a big deal when, they can't get 1,000 people to do anything normally. So clearly there is actually like quite a passionate, thing, and then it's like, let's swap it out. And then I haven't heard any more, but I think it hasn't happened.
Right. Well, do you like that red peak flag?
No, I think it's stupid. All the new flags are fucking dumb as shit.
Yeah.
There's no point having this new fucking, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, $18 million taxpayers' dollars or something to change the flag. Well, don't change it then.
Yeah.
Because we're a small country and $18 million is really quite a lot for us, and no one was really clamoring for a new flag before that.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of like hiding greater issues of sort of offshore asset sales and all sorts of madness that's going on behind the scenes. And it's like, hey, guys, look at this shiny thing, a flag. You guys get passionate about that. We'll just dangle that over here.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And as for John Key using his All Blacks as his sort of PR hype men, it's again like I watched a bit of the All Blacks semi-final.
Well, so what is he referring to here? How did the All Blacks hype up John Key? What happened?
He's just always seen with the All Blacks glad handing and being around them and like doing little.
Well, also he loves the old. Yeah, good. Rugby's good. Rugby's good, and national's good too.
We're behind the All Blacks. National fully supports the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And so, he's always sort of around them, and like has done some promotional bits and pieces with them. I'm not sure, but I saw him at the game. So he's at the semi-final game, which has been played in England. It was played in England this morning, where we won. So congratulations to the All Blacks.
Yeah, I didn't know about that until a South African guy just messaged me on Facebook. He just goes, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck was that about?" And then I realized. Eventually, I connected. I was like, "Oh, there was a rugby game or something last night," but I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. And also, look, and I saw him there at the rugby game, cheering the All Blacks on.
Yeah.
Go team. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with this country?
Yeah.
That our Prime Minister has time to jump on a 24-hour flight there and back, so that's 48 hours, right? Why isn't he prime ministering?
Yeah, prime ministering this place. He should be ministering the shit out of this primarily.
It makes no sense. Like, if it was anyone else, like if it was your lawyer, right? You had this lawyer that you paid an exorbitant amount of money for.
Yeah, but wait, do you know that he didn't go over there as part of some other something as well? Did he go literally as for a photo op?
He went there literally to watch the game live.
Yeah.
As if he didn't have Sky at home, the rich bastard.
Yeah.
So, it's like, you cannot justify any prime minister traveling 48 hours to go watch an hour and a bit game, a 70-minute game of rugby.
It wasn't even the final.
And it wasn't even the final. It was a semi-final, and presumably
he's going to be the final as well.
He's going to be at the thing. So it's like, we're paying for him to jet set back and forth to see a sports game. Like, at no point do I think that is okay.
Well, maybe he paid for it himself.
Yeah, maybe
he's on holiday.
Maybe he paid for it himself.
The Prime Minister can go on holiday, can't he?
He can go on holiday, but, this is Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way he's getting back in time for Parliament.
Yeah.
To open its doors on Monday.
Oh, he's got some annual leave. He's accrued some annual leave.
Prime Ministers don't get annual leave.
Of course they do. There's labour laws, man. He gets 4 weeks a year, just like you and me.
I don't think he should.
A.
He's working for he should be working for the people right now.
Full time.
Swanning about, exactly, not swanning about. He's paid too much. New Zealand is too important. I just don't think that is a very good reason to go off. Like, it's fine to go and watch the games when they're here, or even Australia. That's a 3-hour trip. It's nothing. But I just have a feeling it's just not right, man. It's not right for a game of rugby.
Yeah, well,
rugby's not important. Well, wasn't he, I don't know, at a Greenpeace summit or some shit?
Well, it does seem like there's good guys and bad guys in the world, and the bad guys are winning. And, and the way they're winning is by getting their little puppets into all of the positions of power. And the way you do that is with money. And it's like, they don't know they're bad. They just think they're making a buck. But, they're bad. They're evil, and they're what's wrong with humanity. And I reckon that that's the team that Key's on. It's like it's that right wing, like sort of nasty money first kind of
made too much money.
Yeah. And so I'm not a fan either. But this is not specific to John Key. This is just something that I find really kind of insulting to my intelligence. Is milk right now. The milk at the supermarket, you go there, it's in a black bottle that says All Blacks on it. Now, tell me this. What the fuck does milk have to do with the All Blacks? Now, and how is it? Like, what happened, right? The marketing people were like, okay, we need to tie milk to the All Blacks, so we'll make it black, because people are so fucking stupid that they're going to buy more milk simply because it's black, because the All Blacks are playing, and because it says All Blacks on it. Like, it's the same product on the inside. It's just straight up marketing aimed at, like stupid people. But unfortunately, I'm in the population, so I've got to see it as well. And it's just insulting to all of our intelligence that would happen. And yet, here's the thing. Here's the real problem. Here's the real kicker. Is it works? They don't pay millions of dollars to put All Blacks on the milk if it doesn't work. Like, it works. People are so fucking stupid that they go out and buy milk that has the All Blacks on it, as if it's in some way related. It's in some way better than non-All Black milk. It boggles the mind that we're surrounded by these people who completely lack the ability to think, sort of for themselves.
Because also, the cost of doing that,
it's millions.
They have to change the whole packaging in their, that's not an easy thing to do. If you were just making a plastic carton or
Well, just the rights to it, though. Yeah. Just the rights to use the All Black brand is not, it's not a couple of $1,000. Also, it's a fuckload. I don't know what it is.
It leads into this thing, which is New Zealanders care far too much about rugby. Far too much.
They also are incapable of thinking critically.
Yeah,
and this is a problem. This ties in nicely to this conversation we had last week about 70% of the population being idiots. I've thought about that, and I've decided to refine it. It's not that they're stupid; it's that they're incapable of thinking critically. Yeah. So this is why 60% of marriages end in divorce and stuff like that. It's because people are incapable of thinking ahead and going, oh, maybe I'm 24 and I shouldn't get married for 60 years because I'm fucking too young to make that decision. You know what I mean? You're going to have one last penis for the rest of your life and you're fucking 24, think ahead, man. Look, just think critically. But people are incapable of it. So I've decided that it's not that they're idiots, it's that they're incapable of thinking critically. And people do not think things through.
That's a good distinction.
And that's why all this stupid, All Blacks marketing works, because people are, rugby.
Well, this is the thing is because I do like sport. I enjoy sport. I enjoy watching sport. Sport can
sedate the masses?
Well, sport can sort of, get me emotional in the same way that a good film can, a good sports game can. And I wasn't always like that, but I appreciate that athleticism involved. I appreciate the skill and dedication it takes to sort of get to that level. So I like all of that. But I also realized that it's just a fucking game. And if people cared half as much, for instance, about climate change and about the decisions that National is making in regards to their lack of foresight towards climate change and their sort of investments in roads and driving, which is very bad, as opposed to trains and, sort of alternative things for us, as travellers and as just a whole New Zealand as a whole. We would be one of the greenest Truly, because we're not green at all. Per capita, we're not remotely... We're terrible. We're terrible in the world. We're terrible. It's just that we are a small population.
It's just that there's only 4 million people here.
So we're not
spread out over the whole country.
So we're not making these giant smog clouds yet.
Yeah. But we will.
But we will. And it's like, but if we just applied that same level of passion and enthusiasm to this meaningless game that won't matter, that will be reset again in another 4 years, that has no impact on any of our lives. Win or lose, there's zero impact for us as a country, as a nation. Nothing happens. It's literally entertainment. And if we just cared about some of these crucial things that are going on, right now with the decisions being made about what's going to be our future in 20 years, New Zealand would be in a great place. Yeah. And unfortunately, our priorities are just so dramatically skewed in the wrong direction that, America's got this problem. Obviously, we look stupid. Why do we care about rugby? It's stupid. And this is coming from a guy that enjoys sports.
Yeah. Yeah, well...
What's the solution? Listen to this podcast.
Get entertained this way.
And maybe question some of the things that's going on.
Well, just have a go at thinking critically, just for a little while. Just have a go at it. Just see where it takes you.
Yeah. Out of your marriage that you got into at 24.
24, yeah. No, because I was talking today about marriage.
Yeah.
That's why it was on my mind.
Or why were you talking about marriage today?
Well, I was talking with Angie about
slipping the ring on.
No, not at all.
You go,
the opposite.
No, slipping the ring off.
Yeah.
Never doing it.
Basically,
never ever being married.
Yeah, well, because I was sort of I read somewhere that in the wild, sort of Paleolithic era humans didn't they weren't monogamous.
Yep.
And they didn't stay together for they didn't meet at age 14 or whenever they became sexually able to reproduce and then stay together for the rest of their lives. They met at 14, they fucked, they had a baby, and the father hung around for about 3 years.
Yep.
And then after that, the mum's fucking recovered, and the kid's older now, and sort of they kind of look after themselves, not by themselves entirely, but the dad can move on to another woman,
another sweet young thing.
Exactly, but also the woman can have another kid,
another hot young dad bod.
Yeah. Well, they the article I read said it was they thought about 3 years was the average sort of, or the expected duration of a coupling, and it's nowadays, here we are, and it's thanks to religion, I reckon. It's a hangover from sort of the previous years of religion where it's you have, nowadays you're supposed to get married, have a family, but stay together, monogamous for the rest of your life, and you say all these vows in front of God at your wedding, death do us part, and all that stuff. But actually, it's completely and entirely unnatural. You're not supposed to do that. It's not what we would do in the wild. And as a result, 60% of us, or whatever the statistic is, are getting divorced. They don't. The weddings don't last. It's not a healthier option or anything like that.
The problem is, though, we can't be in 3-year relationships and having a kid now.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Because of the global population would spiral out of control.
Well,
so, actually...
No, because you still got to pay for those kids.
But, from a sort of our future life on this earth standpoint, it's good to just do that with one person.
Well, yeah, I guess...
Future life on Earth.
It would still depend if... We're not necessarily talking about having a kid every 3 years with a different woman. You don't have to do that.
Oh, wow, it seemed like that.
Or a different person.
But that's what they were trying to sort of go forth and multiply, right?
Yeah, well, back then, yeah, for sure.
And what we've got to do is go forward and cull.
Yeah. Well, I guess that my main sort of point there is just that the relationships are not designed to last 60 years.
Right.
They're designed to last 3 years. And isn't it something like 12 months or maybe 24 months or something like that, which is kind of considered like the honeymoon period, whereby your brain is still releasing these chemicals it's a special thing, but then that does kind of sort of peters off, and eventually you're like, who is this fat ass in my bed?
Who is this fat, hairy dad bod dude?
Who's this fat, bald, hairy guy in my fucking bed? And how did this happen?
How did this happen to my life? I'm a beautiful young woman. I had dreams.
I was 24 when I met.
I had dreams. Oh, classic.
I'm just glad she mostly doesn't listen to the podcast anymore.
You don't want to be putting ideas in her head.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so anyway.
Look, we can't solve all the world's problems today, but, we can at least think about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amen. That's the first place to start. Start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Step one.
And then start complaining on a podcast.
And then complain about it on the podcast.
And then feel like you're doing something because of that.
No, I've changed my ways as a result of thinking in a lot of ways. Like, for example, when I cut back on meat for a while there, I've sort of fallen off the wagon.
Slipped back into
I tell you what, though, it felt like, for a while I was quite motivated to cut back on meat. Not because I disliked it. I really liked the taste of
Everyone loves meat.
But simply for, the animal cruelty issues and the environmental issues. And actually the environmental issues were my main motivation. It was more, like I care about animals, I do, but the environment and the future of humanity is more important to me.
Yeah, animals can suck a dick at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, now, I do still only buy, as a general rule, like free-range stuff. I still try and err on the side of, being a decent person. But like this, the environmental impacts were my main sort of motivation. But eventually, right, like the other day, I ate a burger at Wendy's. Just completely just bad for the world, just terrible, and
how did it taste?
It wasn't even that great, to be honest. It was not that great. I was not like, fuck yeah. I was like, nah. And that kind of happens to me every time I eat fast food. I'm like, nah, why did I do that? It was just a bit shit. But anyway, the point is, I used to be really motivated about this not eating meat thing. And then slowly but surely I've become more and more cynical. And now it's kind of like, I liken it to being trapped inside a burning house, right? And it's a nice house, but it's burning down and you're trapped inside and you can't escape. And you've got one last cigarette and you don't smoke it because you don't want to make the curtains smell like smoke.
I see.
You see, what's the point? Just eat the fucking burger. The world's fucked.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you.
But that's obviously it's the wrong attitude. We all need to change our ways. But sometimes it's just hard to stay motivated. So yeah, rant over.
Well, look, we should talk about a little event that happened recently. Film Talk. This is a filmmaking podcast.
This is a podcast about our lives.
And a little event that happened a few days ago. The new Star Wars trailer dropped.
Which I would like to, seeing as we're talking about that, I'd like to just say this is also part of one of our listener topics from Jason Coombs. Who says, will it be a letdown? Is it impossible for it to live up to expectations?
My answer, no.
No, it's not impossible?
No, it's not impossible. We had the letdown. It was called the prequels. Okay, now, all Star Wars fans have seen the prequels.
Yeah.
Right? So they know where it can go wrong. But they don't know where it can go right. But this is the thing. I think, what's great about these trailers is that
I feel like it really shows that they have taken on the feedback from the fans, and they've sort of looked at the prequels and what was not liked about the prequels, and you can kind of see that they've avoided all of that in these new ones, in these new trailers.
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing. It's like, it's that saying. It's the Batman saying. It's not the hero we want; it's the hero we deserve.
Right.
And it's like, we at one point wanted to see fucking what happened to Anakin Skywalker and, how he became Darth Vader because we thought it would be cool. But it's not cool. And it's kind of redundant because we already know where he ends up.
Yeah, but I'd like to jump in there and say that I didn't actually hate the prequels. There's so many people didn't like them. I was actually fine with them. I thought I think it was the first one. No. I think it was the second one that I didn't like, where it was like he was like a teenager and it was all lovey-dovey on her home
love
planet.
Scenes weren't ideal.
And I was a bit bored there. I was like, oh yeah. But I guess you needed to have that stuff in order to truly have Anakin's fall from grace. And I believed it. I bought it. I was like, I really enjoyed that whole process of Anakin going from this sweet, lovable kid through to this kind of likable, like teenager that you want to believe in, through to this, the most famous villain of all time,
petulant young man consumed with hate.
Yeah.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. It's one of his lines.
Yes, I recall that. Now, I didn't hate it anyway. I didn't hate it. I wasn't in love with it, but I didn't hate it.
Stop it, Annie! You're hurting me. That's when she's getting choked out. Look, I didn't mind it either. I didn't mind the prequels either. But I think the first thing that what
they probably could have done with a little bit more Jar Jar Binks.
They probably could have done with a little bit less CG.
Yeah.
George Lucas just got lazy. I mean, at the end of the day, and I don't mean lazy as in he didn't care about making these films awesome or anything. He got lazy in the sense that he was like,
didn't want to shoot practical.
Yeah, it will take me a week to shoot this practically, or it will take me an hour to shoot this digitally. I will shoot this digitally. And that choice was made over and over again. And it was wrong over and over again.
Well, same with Peter Jackson with the Hobbit films.
Yeah,
over Lord of the Rings, he went digital.
And I think that's the issue. Is like these films are so difficult and so spiraling and time consuming and just so much work on so many levels that when you're a middle-aged person, you don't go, let's do this the right way. You go, let's do this the way that's going to get me home to my kids at about 6 or 8 p.m. this evening. Let me have my own shit. Like, let this not almost kill me. Because, these films, if done the right way, will almost kill me. And at this age, having this amount of success, I don't want to be killed again.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. And also, but like the new Star Wars trailer is like, what I think it does well is it hits all the right notes of nostalgia and something new, something fresh. So like you're going, okay, so you're seeing it and you're going, yay, I see Han Solo, yay, I see the Millennium Falcon, and then you go, ooh, a black guy with a lightsaber. And you go, ooh, and he was maybe a stormtrooper or something.
Well, to be fair, there was a black guy with a lightsaber played by Samuel L. Jackson in the prequels.
I forgot about him.
So let's not be...
Mace Windu? Mace
Don't
Windu?
be forgetting Mace Windu.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies to Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I guess
the most famous black guy with a lightsaber.
I guess... But he started off as this, regal, noble Jedi.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, oh, yeah, Sam Jackson. Kind of, and it wasn't that cool. Whereas when you see this guy and you see that it's obviously a transformation from being like this grunt soldier to potentially, being this awesome Jedi, a potential, like that's interesting. That's something you haven't seen. And like the idea of, again, someone kind of taking the moniker of Darth Vader, this new Sith guy, like sort of turning to the dark side and looking up to Darth Vader as an idol. That's a really interesting idea. That's taking, like, that's new territory where you go, okay. But then
But it's Luke Skywalker, right?
What, the
whoever's behind that mask?
No, it's the guy from Girls.
Wait, this is no spoilers.
No,
right?
it's not really, because he's been named.
Well, you haven't seen it, so I guess you're speculating.
No, but he's been named as the bad,
the actor, right?
Actor and the bad guy. So,
right.
But there is speculation because we haven't seen Luke in any of these trailers, and there is a lot of speculation that maybe he has turned to the dark side. Which again, if is true, would be fucking fascinating. That would be such an interesting thing. It's like he changed the world. He wanted to bone his sister. Found a horrible revelation for him that it was his sister. Scarred him for life. He found out that his dad
chopped his hand off.
His dad chopped his hand off. But not only that, he found out his dad was
the root of all evil.
The most evil man in the world. It's like
in the galaxy.
It's like finding out your dad is
Hitler.
Hitler.
John Key.
I was going to say Donald Trump, but Hitler. No, that's a way better example. Hitler. You literally woke up.
It's like you're Max Key and you realize that your dad is John Key.
Max Key looks like a fucking twat.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, he's a teenager. All teenagers are twats.
A rich, spoilt twat. But anyway, that's the thing. Is like,
so if you're listening, Max, fuck you, bro.
You've been happily in 20 years. You've been happily living your life, thinking everything's all good, and hating the Empire, loving the rebels, wanting to make a difference for the cause. Then, boom, the next day, your dad's the Hitler of the universe. Not just like a world, not just a country. He's Hitler of the entire fucking universe.
Not the universe.
The galaxy.
Get it right, bro.
Come on, nerd.
Come on, man.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
the
it's not
universe
the
is a lot bigger than the
it's a
galaxy, bro. There's billions of galaxies in the universe.
Okay, the galaxy.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. Hitler of the galaxy. That's going to fuck you up. And then you have to kill him. That's going to fuck you up. Like, all of this shit is very traumatic. And you can see, like, why him getting bitter and detached and turning to that makes perfect sense. Another fascinating idea, and I think it's that marriage of old and new. But when you see those trailers, you go, this is what I wanted from the Star Wars prequels. I just didn't quite realize I wanted it. And I think it's because, we all love those characters. And, a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, I guess we saw, sure. And a young Emperor who no one was like, man, I want to see a young Emperor.
When do you see a young Emperor?
That's Senator Palpatine.
Oh, yeah, of course. He wasn't really young. He was like 60, but yeah.
Well, yeah, he was younger.
yeah.
And you go, and like those journeys are interesting, but it's not the same as seeing Han and Chewie and Luke and Leia all the gang back together. And like, I think if George was really being honest with himself, and he clearly didn't want to repeat himself and put him in a position where he was going to be kind of come under such scrutiny of like reusing these characters perhaps in a worse way. So he went the prequel route. But this is what we wanted. We wanted those old characters with new stuff happening to them.
Yeah.
So I think that the first one, I think it's probably going to be a law of diminishing returns. The first one will definitely live up to the hype. The second one and the third one, that's up in the air.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to make 3 good films. And also, Han Solo's going to be like 80 by the last one. He's going to be 80.
Well, he probably dies in the first one.
I think, again, that's another potential idea because Han Solo or Harrison Ford asked George to be killed. It's really interesting, actually. Mark Hamill said, hey, what if in Return of the Jedi, Lucas turns to the dark side for a while and kills one of the other characters and then has some type of redemption? What about that? And George Lucas was like, fucking see you later, mate. And then Harrison Ford was like, hey, what about if Harrison Ford, like Han Solo's up to fuck all, why don't you just kill him? That'll be like, everyone will be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And George Lucas was like, no, definitely not. But he did think about it. And in fact, he was going to kill Lando Calrissian in the Millennium Falcon. In fact, in the script, he gets engulfed in the Death Star blow-up. But then they were like, you know what? We don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah.
And also, maybe they would have copped some flack from killing the only black guy in Star Wars.
In the galaxy. In the galaxy at the time.
At the time, there was only one black guy, Lando Calrissian. So, yeah, what was your take on the new trailer?
It looks good. I reckon the trick is to not be a dickhead and just enjoy it for what it is. Like, like so many people on the internet love, like, just hating on things. It's like, it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
And, of course, there are people on the internet, like, complaining and saying, making predictions about how shit it's going to be and these types of things. And it's like, look, if you go into the film expecting it to be shit and kind of in a little way hoping it's going to be shit, well, it's going to be a little bit shit for you.
Yeah.
You got to go into it saying, this is a cool adventure that's been laid out in a sense just for me. I am the viewer. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to watch it and I'm going to experience it. And just basically stop being such a fucking dickhead, or you like haters out there. These people just constantly complaining about things before they're even out.
Well, look, my lovely, beautiful girlfriend has got me tickets us tickets.
Yeah.
Or me tickets, me and you, me and Harley.
You and me?
No, I mean, she wouldn't appreciate that.
Yeah. No, well, she did say the other day, she was like, you guys should come to Angie and I.
But we are seriously considering going dressed up.
As Roby-Wan
Kenobi, as Nick put it. Nick, long-time listener. Bath Roby-Wan Kenobi, as was the case at the time we attended the Phantom Menace. So I'm seriously considering that. Because, when the last time I went as Darth Vader, paper mache Darth Vader, with my paper mache buttons on my thing and sweating profusely, I couldn't even grow a beard. Now I can grow a good Jedi beard as well. So it almost seems like I'm setting myself up for Rugby 1. So, I'm seriously considering doing that. And, my girlfriend might dress up as Princess Leia. And that might be a turn on to me.
Nice.
Nice. Those buns.
She's going to go in the gold bikini, right?
Well, I think she'd probably go on that white robe thing. I mean, gold bikini might be a little bit much.
A little bit revealing for the movies.
Yeah, for the movies.
Yeah.
And chilly, not to mention. Not that practical.
The other day, I went to JB Hi-Fi on Queen Street, and I saw there I Survived a Zombie Holocaust on DVD, $16.98, and there's a 20% off sale at JB Hi-Fi at the moment. So if you guys are out and about, head down to JB Hi-Fi and get a copy of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. Please do it. While I was there, there was this dude sort of lingering around looking for DVDs, and I was looking at the Zombie Holocaust DVD, and I took it to show Angie, and then I as I was returning it, I was like he was just standing there looking at some other DVD, and I was like, hey, this is me, and pointed to like me on the back of the DVD,
and what did he say?
And he was like, oh, cool, and he was like, congratulations. And I was like, thanks. And then I walked away. But he definitely thought I was a dickhead.
Yeah, for sure.
I just hang out at JB Hi-Fi and just point it out to people when they walk past.
Look, man, you might as well like harass passers by.
Well, the thing is,
have you bought the film yet?
After I left, he may or may not have, I assume he did. He probably picked it up and read the back.
Yeah.
He almost certainly did.
Well, look, talking about the zombie film, got a couple of topics on that.
Okay.
Number one, we are going down, this might be before, our next podcast might not be until after, or we might have to do another road podcast, in fact.
Well, today's the 25th, and we're going down on the 31st, so yeah, I think you might be right. 31st is a Saturday, so
we are going down to attend a screening of the zombie film in Timaru.
Mm-hmm. The metropolis of Timaru.
The bustling metropolis.
In the top of the lower third of the South Island of New Zealand, sort of an hour or two south of Christchurch.
An hour or two south of everywhere.
Shaky City.
We'll be there. Harley Neville, Harvey Neville, Harry Neville.
Yeah.
Gary Pigeon, Guy Pizza will be there.
Yep. There's talk of Mike Edward going, and there's also talk of Mike Edward not going. He played one of the main characters. He's
Adam the body.
Yep.
Definitely Adam, not the dad body.
Yeah.
Now he's a dad with a 0% dad body about him.
Yeah. Now Mike Edward is the most recognizable person in the film. Yeah. And so hopefully he can make it, but we're waiting to hear. But there's going to be a Q&A after the screening. I feel like it's actually going to be a really good night. It's we're getting that small town star treatment, like they've got some. So the screening isn't until 8, but some drinks are starting at 6:30. They're providing the drinks.
Nice.
They're calling it like a VIP pre-party.
Right.
And then we walk along to the cinema, get all dressed up, and then walk along to the cinema.
You're bringing your suit?
No, we're going to dress up for Halloween. It's Halloween.
Yeah, so no suit.
No suit. It's got to be dressed up of some description.
So
zombies and stuff.
Yeah, right. There's a rumour that Wesley himself will be
Wesley
attending.
Pennington might be there. Wesley Beddington.
Well, look,
I'll have to shave.
Yeah, I think you can shave. But I think I will probably shave as well.
Right.
I've had this beard for a long time. We were looking to do some sort of photo promos for something, but it hasn't really panned out.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, look, I've got to get rid of this shit.
No, what you got to do is your problem is you keep cutting it. You got to let it get all bushy.
Well, yeah. Well, yes.
That's when you take true pride in a beard, when it starts getting real big and bushy.
Yeah, I just don't have that. Because the thing is, my hair is very wavy, so basically it gets very hobo. It's quite hobo no matter what, but it gets very hobo very quickly, and it starts kind of like these stray hairs start springing out all over the place. Like it doesn't just stay. Yours stays kind of straight and in a nice thick sort of thing, whereas mine, as it gets longer and longer, starts like all these kind of hairs start curling outwards.
I thought it looked pretty good in the heat and eat. And that was pretty thick.
Yeah. Well, it's probably about the same as it is now in the heat and eat.
No, you think?
Yeah, it's just darker.
Just greyer.
Because I dyed it for the heat and eat.
So this Timaru screening, though, VIP treatment. We do an intro when we arrive at the cinema.
Yep.
And then we watch the film, and then afterwards there's a Q&A with the cast and crew.
Mm-hmm.
And all in all, I think it's going to be a pretty great night. So if anybody knows anybody in the Timaru region, please get them to jump on Facebook and search I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, and there's an event there called the Timaru screening of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, and you can buy tickets there. And you can only buy tickets online. So look, if you happen to know anybody in Timaru, please, for the love of God, send them along to see I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
It will also
It's going to be a great night.
DVDs and posters. We're going to have
T-shirts. We're selling T-shirts.
We have T-shirts. We're going to have the lot, man. And like Harley will sign your boobs.
I will, if
man or woman.
Doesn't matter.
No questions asked.
No, straight up. I'm not even kidding. I will sign your tits.
What is about something more intimate?
I'd sign it all.
Okay, let me ask you
Just
this.
straight down the shaft.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If someone
asked me to sign their penis,
cock, would you like cup it in your hand and like to lay it out to write on it, and then take. So your hand is kind of underneath the penis, and you writing on the top of it.
Well, I mean, is he hot, or is he like a hobo?
No, he's not a hobo. He's just a regular guy. He's not necessarily hot, but he's not.
It's just a dude.
He's just a guy.
Just like you. I'll just imagine you.
Yeah. Would I do it? I'm hot.
Oh, right.
I'm a hot guy.
No, look, I would, if I actually think that at the Timaru screening, if somebody genuinely wanted me to sign their penis,
you would do it.
I think I would do it, but I wouldn't.
It's a good story.
I wouldn't grab it with my hand, man.
Well, you'd ask him to hold it out.
Yeah, or I'd like use a T-shirt or something and just hold on to it.
So you wouldn't cup it with your bare hand.
No, it's a bit much. I draw the line. At that. Signing it's one thing, but cupping it's another.
Cupping it's an entire thing altogether.
Maybe if he bought me dinner first. Or something.
Right. Well, look, so please, if you know people, send them along to that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking for. I mean, we're traveling down. We're going to be dressed up as something, and what we're going to be dressed up as.
We've bought our tickets.
Harley will go as Wesley, obviously. I'll go as a disgruntled, bitter director.
You should go as SMP.
Yeah, well, I think I've chucked out his suit. And plus, it didn't fit me because he was kind of taller and thinner. But while we're on the topic of the zombie film,
yes,
got a little bit of feedback from Naomi Kirby, who is a dear friend from England.
Okay,
who I stayed with over there. We've been good friends since I was 19. She sent me an email. She said, "Look, stop being so fucking negative about your achievements. It's driving me crazy."
Is this listening to the podcast?
You're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm inclined to agree.
It's driving me fucking crazy. But appreciate what you've done and like, you guys have done an awesome thing and like, keep your head up, homie. Is basically what she said. And to that I say, fuck you, Naomi. I'll do whatever I want and I'll complain for the rest of my life about this. I'm just kidding. What I wanted to say was thank you, Naomi. I appreciate your email, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about the things that I'm thankful for.
Now, did she give me a shout out in this email saying, like, in the podcast, it's good that Harley calls you out?
No, she's seen you as negative as well.
But I call you out on this. I say stop being a whiny bitch. I say this, that, and the other thing.
That's negative.
And I say appreciate all the great opportunities that you've had and everything that you've made. And
great opportunity. Okay. Anyway.
The money is a great opportunity.
So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I'm thankful for.
Bloody Naomi.
With relation to the zombie film, and what fills my heart with joy. First off, and this is the biggest one, was making a fully funded feature film with all my friends. Mm-hmm. And I've said this I think on the director's commentary. And
so these are things you're grateful for.
Yeah, this is what I'm grateful for. This I'm thankful for. And this is the biggest one for me. This is the favorite thing about the zombie film for me, is that I got to make a zombie film and I got to, sort of achieve a dream that I've been working towards for, since I was 16. But I didn't just get to do a film. It wasn't just a film. It was a film where the lead actor was my best friend. The lead actress was my best girlfriend. The accountant was a dear friend who had filmed many things with us, including our
very
first short film, Brent Norris.
The art director was Nick Larson.
The art director was Nick Larson, another very good friend who would live with and talked about making films for, and
who was also in our very first film.
And all of that is so special because that is really rare. That is not something like, you can pick a line of all these films and, most of them won't be populated with your best friends, unless it's like a no-budget, micro-budget film and you've just sort of recruited everyone. But that wasn't the case here. We were making a sort of a small-budget film and we had recruited the most talented people. And they happened to be, my good friends. And so
because you surround yourself with talented people.
I surround myself with talent, with genius.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that I think is my biggest achievement as a film was getting, not just for me getting to live my dream, but giving the opportunity to these people that I care about, that I love, and that I respect, the opportunity to show how talented they were and giving them a stage and a platform for that. And that is what I see as sort of my biggest achievement on the film. So, I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for getting to contribute to a genre that I really love, that the 16-year-old me would love me for doing. I play Resident Evil, 14, 15, 16, fell in love with zombies, made zombie references. I mean, you and I would would reference Resident Evil in our conversations where we would joke about the bad dialogue.
It's ominously quiet outside.
Okay, I'll take this then.
Blood. Hope this isn't Chris's blood.
And we used to just rattle this off, these cheesy sort of one-liners, but it was from a genuine love of zombies. Our first short film had a zombie in it, and I really love and respect the genre, and I'm very proud that I got to contribute to it and what I think is a really cool film. And be part of that because, like I said, the 16-year-old me would have flipped the fuck out knowing that was, my first opportunity. I'm also very thankful for having the opportunity and the tools to make my own feature films now because of the skills that I've acquired, So sort of nobody can tell us that we can't do a film if we really believe in it and want to do it. And I think that, because when I was 24, 25, or 19, 18, I was like, how do you even make a feature film? Like, how is that even possible? I can't fathom that in my head. I can't see a way that I could really achieve that and it would be feasible. And now, obviously there's still plenty of issues like how much is going to cost, how we're going to do it, how we're going to schedule around work, how we're going to find all the talent that we need and not necessarily pay them. But it is a very privileged position to be like, we can make a feature film and we can plan to make a feature film and we have the skills and aptitude to make it. And that is very different from sort of, I don't know, even 5 years ago. We couldn't do that. And now that seems very difficult, but it's certainly not impossible and it's certainly very feasible and very achievable. It's just a matter of, sort of applying those skills that we've learned. My collaboration with Harley Neville.
Who?
Harry Neville.
That's it.
Harvey. I'm very thankful for that. I mean, we've talked a little bit about that on the podcast, but, it's a pretty cool thing to sit and work with your best friend and go, cool, what are we going to create? What are we going to make? Most people are sitting around drinking a beer at the pub going, God, my girlfriend's giving me assholes. And my job sucks. And what happened to our dreams? Whereas we're like, what happened to our dreams? What, you mean that we were working on yesterday? That we're planning for in the next one? You know, like, that's pretty damn cool, and it's pretty damn cool to do that with, you know, your best friend of, 16, 17, 18 years of just being to say, like, hey, man, fuck yeah, we're doing cool shit, and we have that opportunity to do that together. Very thankful for the ensemble of exceptionally talented cast and crew that are willing to help me fulfill, my visions and my stories. And believe in my talent enough to do it for nothing. That is fucking awesome. The fact that we have these super excellent actors, excellent, DOP, excellent, just people that are interested in film that go, hey, look, I believe in this work so much that I'm going to take weeks off whatever it is I'm doing, unpaid, to help you just achieve this thing that you just thought up of your top of your fucking dome. Like, that's fantastic. And, I love seeing what all these people bring to the table. And, I'm thankful also for, the tools that my parents have given me in terms of writing and, sort of how they brought me up, loving books, loving reading, loving critical thinking. All these things that really let me sort of start creating my own stories that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. I really sincerely believe that, even when I'm depressed and at my lowest point, that I am just one great screenplay away from the next fantastic opportunity. Even wherever I am, if I'm, completely zero, completely nothing, I feel like it can be whatever that next thing is, could be the thing. And it could be the thing that's going to be that amazing thing that's going to catapult us to the next thing. And also, just quickly, I will say, the final thing that I'm thankful for is good friends and good health, which is not really career related. But obviously when you're healthy and you feel good, that's a luxury. And that's not something that you can always count on. And it's fantastic to not be worried about, some
ailment,
malady, and also good friends. Is like, I have a lot of really good friends. Well, not a lot.
Well, we're pretty lucky, though, to still be in touch with so many of the people that we grew up with.
And I think there's an important thing is, like, I hear people talk about how their friends are sort of letting them down a lot of the time. Just in conversation, that their friends are letting them down. Their friends have done a dicky thing. Their friends have been a bit shitty. Their friends have kind of fallen off the radar. All that stuff. And it's like, wow. All my friends have never ever done that to me. I've never ever had to worry about any of that stuff. And it sometimes surprises me when I hear these stories, because all my friends are very loyal and supportive and just good, smart, intelligent people that help me be smarter and more intelligent. Be smarter?
Be smarter. You heard it. You heard it here.
Think good,
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And I think actually, again, going through life and sort of seeing these other people and dealing with their dramas with their friends, you go, oh shit, that's actually kind of rare. That's not actually a thing that is a given or a guaranteed. So that's what I'm thankful for. Harley Neville, I throw it over to you.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't prepare myself a list. If you give me some warning,
had a list.
I would have prepared a list of things that I'm grateful for. But look,
Don't talk about science. You already talked about science and what you're thankful for in the other podcast. That's why I say that. We've already covered science.
No. So
we already covered Mars, all right? We got some water and some shit over there.
No. Oh, look, I tell you what, there's so many things to be grateful for me. I mean, I won't bore you with a big long list
like I just did.
But
well, that was kind of the exercise,
yeah,
Harley.
That was, yeah. No, look. Okay, obviously, health and friends, yeah. That's good shit.
Obviously,
got a good relationship. That's good shit too.
Oh yeah, got to my girlfriend.
Fuck it. How about this though?
Okay.
I am in the top 10% of rich people in the world. Like,
really?
Yeah, like I'm not the 99% man. I'm the 10%.
Yeah.
Like if you go to so many other countries where there's literally untold, millions and hundreds of millions living in deafening desperation, and here I am, this fucking guy born in New Zealand, like I've got literally nothing to complain about. Like I'm like just my world has been handed to me on a plate. So, I'm very grateful for that. I'm also very grateful for having someone to create with, because this is a rarity, this friendship. This is not normal that that people become friends when they're 13 and are still friends when they're 33.
Yep.
Like that's not really that common.
No.
Especially not.
Was it 13?
Well, we were 13 when we met. I was at your 14th birthday party.
Really? Was that my 14th?
Yeah, I kicked your ass at Killer Instinct, remember?
Hey, look,
you banned me.
Hey.
You banned me. You said I couldn't use that dog guy.
What's his dog's name?
The dog guy from Killer Instinct.
Yeah, but look,
you told me I couldn't use him anymore.
I did win.
You and your dickhead mates, your nerdy mates wouldn't let me use this guy because I kept beating everyone's asses, and then they were like, "No, you got to use someone else now, Harley."
Yeah, well, look, you don't have to be a dick about it. Just fucking stupid fucking combo over and over again.
Hey, multiple combos.
Stupid fucking sort of fucking 17-hit combo.
Yeah,
fucking button mash bullshit.
Well, no, there's no button mashing about it, mate. If you couldn't beat me, you couldn't beat me. So anyway, I was at your 14th, which meant, and we're not quite 33, we're 32, but
right.
We're 33 in 6 months or so. Anyway, so that's a rarity. It's also rare to actually have a creative relationship like that lasts that long as well. But I tell you what, there's something that I've always been envious. Like I had a great childhood, and my mum did a great job. But I always have been, more recently, I've been kind of jealous of your parents. You have like a genius dad who's a philosopher, literally a philosopher, who studied at the same university as Stephen friggin' Hawking.
That's true.
At the same time as Stephen friggin' Hawking.
Stephen Hawking was rolling around in his wheelchair, and Dad was like, "Hey, it's Stephen Hawking."
He was like, "Hey, Steve. G'day, Steve."
He's like, "Hey, mate, how's that theory of..." No, not theory of relativity.
Yeah.
Did he? No, he didn't do that one. What did he do?
Yeah.
Theory of relativity.
Yeah, right? No, was that Einstein?
No, it was Einstein.
Yeah, it was Einstein.
Equals MC squared. No, that's Einstein.
No, that's definitely Einstein.
Black hole shit.
Hawking radiation, but that was a little bit later.
Black hole bullshit.
But anyway,
dark matter shit.
Yeah, and then your mum as well is obviously a big achiever, a very intelligent woman herself.
Well, she was in this. She went to the same
university, right? Same
Cambridge, I think.
Cambridge, yeah. Right. So anyway, for me, these bigger questions that come about, the universe and life and religion and the meaning of it all, like these questions didn't even occur to me until I was like in my late 20s.
Yeah.
But presumably you sat around hearing about this shit all day,
fucking bored.
At lunchtime,
Bored of the whole
while you're eating your fucking Marmite sandwiches.
It's true.
So I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty lucky for you. That's a pretty great thing that you've got.
Well, you're thankful for.
Well, I'm not saying I'm thankful for it. I'm just saying that's something that's cool.
No, I
for
agree.
you.
I agree.
Oh, good for you!
Oh,
right. Well,
yeah.
Well, look, enough of this hand jobbing ourselves.
I was just being thankful. It's not really hand jobbing, Harley, but I want to turn it negative all of a sudden.
Turn it negative again? No. I do have an abundance of things that I'm very grateful for, and I actually think it's part of why I'm kind of just generally I feel overall pretty happy is because I acknowledge that I have all these great things in my life. My life's a fucking dream. But so anyway, I did just want to touch before we leave on these things. One, all the auditions that we spoke of in the last episode.
Yep.
Didn't get them.
Failed. Well,
pretty sure. Like we may or may not still have time to hear something about the Chicago accent one where I play like a mobster, but it's not looking promising.
How much did you spend on those auditions?
Well, about $100 each, I guess.
So $300?
Well, no, I didn't spend any on the commercial because it was only one line with a standard English accent, so I just copied you.
Let's hear that English accent.
It was I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, hello, hello, yes, of course, okay, yes, see you there. 2 minutes or something like that. I don't know, something like that. So I essentially just kind of put on an affected, English accent. It just enunciated slightly more.
Yeah.
And that was really about it. But so anyway, I didn't get that one. But the other two, I had a Yorkshire one and a Chicago one. I spent about $100 on each of those, not to mention the time. Now, I acted in a no-budget feature film the other day. Had my first day of 2 or 3 or 4 days. I'm not really sure how many I'm going to get. I went in a little dubious, but I'm feeling positive now. I think it's actually going to be kind of decent.
Okay.
And I just hope that they're going to finish. My big concern is it's this really ambitious fantasy feature film, and it's got no money, and so I'm really, really concerned that they're just not putting enough thought into post.
Yeah,
she seems relatively well connected and stuff, but I'm a little bit concerned that basically, if it took 4 years to get the zombie film out and we had $250,000, I just don't know. I'm just a little bit concerned that essentially it's just going to peter out and disappear in post, or just not do very well.
And also, I mean, we made Older expressly as the idea that it was, basically a bunch of people walking around talking.
Yeah.
And there's already heaps of visual effects shots that have cropped up in that.
Yeah, well, this one's guaranteed to have heaps of visual effects shots required because it's a post-apocalyptic fantasy sci-fi sort of thing. So, yeah, but anyway, so far so good. I watched The Martian. That made me horny.
Yeah.
I watched
Jizzing It to Damon.
Yeah, I did really enjoy that. I really enjoy the fact that film and Interstellar both kind of relied on sort of real life, sort of hard, what do they call it? Hard science fiction.
Yeah.
And I thought that's really good because these
hard science fiction, as in your dick after you watched
hard
it
in the cinema. No, because what's great about it is that they're not dumbing down the civilization. The fucking population. Right. They're not dumbing down the population like they are with, say, Transformers and these types of big dumb things.
Wait, are you telling me
the physics in Transformers is not quite
Prime
right?
could not exist?
Oh no, he could exist if humanity put their mind to it. But so yeah, I really think it's kind of great that they've got these massive, big, successful blockbuster movies based sort of in reality of the kind of nearish, foreseeable-ish future. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I really like that. I watched also Amnesiac. Terrible. Just a really shit film about a guy who can't remember stuff. Kind of a poor man's Memento. Terrible. Don't watch it.
Okay.
A Haunted House with Damon Wayans or one of those Wayans guys. You've got an
interesting take on this.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. It was pretty silly, but it was this outrageous, silly sort of dumb film. But kind of just funny, and you can kind of appreciate the fact that he just kind of wrote something. He said we'll set it all in one house basically and make a comedy about a haunted house, and that's what he did.
Financially successful,
and was it? Yeah. Well, I imagine it was. It was pretty hilarious.
The fact that you've told me that does make me want to watch it now.
I laughed out loud at a few things.
I'm quite keen, because I really had been this is basically Scary Movie 6,
right?
Which
I guess if I had thought of it in that sense, then I wouldn't have liked it. But I sat down having no idea even what it was about.
Right.
Just started watching it. And I was like, this is pretty funny. This Is the End. I watched that. Thought that was a bit silly.
Right.
Didn't really love it, but I do really love those guys.
Yeah, this is the thing. Is I don't understand how this one. I haven't seen A Haunted House, but I have seen This Is the End, and I thought This Is the End was one of the best comedies of last year.
Right. I thought it was a bit silly,
and so I thought it was a cool concept too. The end of the world with all these actors.
Well, I like that they're taking the piss out of the Rapture.
The piss out of the Rapture. They're taking the piss out of themselves.
Yeah. That was all good stuff, but I still kind of feel like the only really good film that those guys have made is Superbad. That's the rest of them have been kind of all the ones I've seen have been kind of average-ish.
Knocked Up?
I didn't see that one. I've heard it's good. So I need to give that a hoon.
You should see Neighbours.
Okay.
Yeah, Neighbours. I recommend Neighbours.
The other thing I watched was Aliens, which obviously I've seen before.
Yeah.
But it was the director's. It was Ridley Scott's director's cut.
James Cameron.
Whatever. Whoever made that fucking movie.
The second one, right?
Yeah, the second
with
one.
The Marines.
Yeah.
That's James Cameron.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, anyway, I watched his version of the film, his release of it, and I thought it was shitter than the theatrical one. So
you're not the only person to think that.
It was just about too. It was too long. It was too long, and it didn't really add anything compared to the theatrical version. So
that is a criticism that has been made of that version. And it's interesting you say that.
Just slowed it all down.
I'm
really
surprised you remember the original version.
Well, I did wonder about that. I did think, oh, maybe the film isn't as good as I thought it was, because, you know, when I first watched Aliens, it was ages ago, and, you know, I loved it. I fucking loved it. But I was a lot younger then.
Well, see, you know, that's the thing, because I've seen, I think, only the director's cut.
Right.
You know, like, so the first cut I ever saw was the director's cut, and I thought it was amazing. And I don't think my opinion would change of that now. Although it's maybe been, you know, sort of at least 5 years since I've seen it. But, yeah, interesting. Let JC know that one. He's in New Zealand. He lives here.
Right. Good
so if you listen to the podcast, your director's cut actually did not improve the film. Yeah. I'm sorry about that, JC.
So I think on that note, we could probably wrap up this podcast. It's been good. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Make sure, please, so here are the things we need you to do at the moment.
Okay.
1, if you know anybody in Timaru, tell them about the Timaru screening of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust this Halloween.
Copy.
2, go on to IMDb, search I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, and give it a 10 out of 10 star rating. Even if you haven't seen it yet, give it 10 out of 10. All you need is a Facebook account. You don't need an IMDb account.
Even if you hate it.
3, watch I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. It's on iTunes, probably wherever you are.
No doubt.
And 4, go to iTunes and give this very podcast a 5 out of 5 star rating, because we really need it.
And while you're there, give the zombie film a 5 out of 5 star rating, because we really need that too.
Yeah. So please, for the love of God, do all of that stuff for us. It's actually very, very important to us. And every single person that does it, it really, really, really helps us.
And finally, we should mention, we would be remiss if we didn't. This is the 40th episode, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're only not that many episodes away, 12 episodes away from our 1 year anniversary.
3 months.
Okay. So we need ideas about how we're going to do that big 1 year anniversary ep. What are we going to include? What should we do? Should we have guests? Should we get really drunk? Just an idea. Should we
do it live?
You know, like, what is the thing that we should do? What would you like to see? Should we have highlights from old episodes? You know, what do you want to see?
Let us know.
And we might do it.
All right. So, thank you very much for listening. See you next week.
See you later.
Junkie, stop bullshitting me. I can see through your smug face and your people's bullshit. You're just looking out for those that are rich. Aw, shit, call the cops, it's the thought police. Junkies got the keys, now your home's police. So I head downtown, get my soul released. Smash every fucking window, feel the rage unleash. The system doesn't work, so I'm not gonna work for the man. Slaving for the dollar, the rich don't understand. They just get richer, but where's the grand plan? It's time to stop living in the palm of their hand. You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.